gang, gang.
It's been a whole minute and a half.
It's been a crazy amount of time.
Since I talked to you.
Or like me even seeing you. Like, it's crazy.
I know.
We have a lot to discuss.
We have a lot to discuss because even the last time we were on the pod was like the beginning of June, I feel like. It was definitely before your birthday. So.
It was before my birthday, you're right.
June was hard, man. June was really a hoot, let me tell you. So we took a little break, but we're back.
I feel like it kind of flew by too. Like we're already in July.
I know. We're halfway through the year. I mean, you're just it's a wrap. Chalk up the year as a complete wrap. Like
2020 has been trash to say the least.
Peace out, yo. So wait, your birthday, which we haven't addressed. You are
June 11th was my birthday. Now I'm an
25.
Old man. Yeah, 29. Yeah, almost 30. That's crazy to even think about.
So, like, you've now been 29 for almost a month. You feel any different? Any new muscles or body parts giving out on you? Like,
nah,
crazy happening?
Still the same washness as of right now. Maybe in a few months I might find something else that's washed, but as of right now, I'm still the same washed as I was in 28. So everything feels the same. So
that was like our first. I feel like your birthday was our first time, like
breaking quarantine.
Yeah, like breaking quarantine. I mean, there was only 6 of us, but still.
Yeah,
it was fun though.
So for the people who don't know, I was supposed to be in Puerto Rico on my birthday, but obviously COVID had other plans. So then Emily, she tried to be sneaky and gather all my peeps to come over to the house. I think
she pulled it off.
She did pull it off. I mean, I found out obviously because
you're annoying.
I'm not annoying.
You didn't have to find out.
She was acting weird, and she was doing things she normally doesn't do. So I was asking her like, "What is wrong with her?" And
you're not telling the full story because you were yelling. She said,
"I was not yelling.
Who is coming over? Who is coming over?"
I just kept asking her, and she wouldn't answer me. And then she kept laughing every time I would ask. And so I'm like, "Oh, well, obviously somebody's coming over." Because once Puerto Rico got canceled, I was like, "All right, we'll just chill. I'll just lay on the couch all day. We can watch some movies."
When I was texting Emily, I was like, "Are we gonna do it? Are you planning anything?" And she was like, "I want to plan something. Like, I'm so glad you texted me because Jared's being so dramatic about his birthday in quarantine." And she was like, "He doesn't want to do anything. He's just being depressed. So we should definitely do something and surprise." I was like, "Okay." And then you, as the most annoying human on earth, like, you knew something was up. Obviously, you couldn't just sit back and be surprised. You had to just.
So you want me to sit back? You want me to sit back and fake it like I'm surprised when?
Not fake it, but like, you obviously know something is happening, but you didn't necessarily know what or who. So you could have been surprised by the what and who.
At a certain time, I was just like, okay, well, obviously people are coming over. Just give me the time frame so I can get up and get dressed and shower.
You were like, who is it? Who is it? Who is it? You could have just been like, okay, people. And then when we got there, you were like, oh, obviously you know who they are. We have a small circle, but you could have still been surprised, okay?
I was surprised. And I was happy that it was set up. So thank you to the baby cakes, and thank you to you guys for coming through. I appreciate it. It was a fun night.
It was pretty fun. We definitely stayed too late. I mean, we were the last ones to leave, obviously.
I forgot what time. I forgot what time.
It was like 11 something, and it was like your birthday's on a Thursday, and you and Emily had the whole weekend off because Monday off.
And you still had to work the next day, right?
Yeah, luckily Corona, I'm still working remote for the rest of my life. So I just rolled out of bed right when it was time to sign on.
No, that was a nice little fun day.
That was so fun. Okay, so then.
Yeah, what happened after that?
Then I saw you again because, well, now we're moving on to the next thing that happened in June.
Oh, yeah, we got some big news for you guys if you guys weren't aware.
Yeah, so I did a thing in June on the 20th specifically. I got married, which
is Mrs. Watson.
News. That is my new name, apparently. There's a lot of paperwork that goes along. I now feel Emily's pain, but anyways.
Yeah, you got to change your names on everything.
But only a select few people knew I was doing that ahead of time, and Jared and Emily were one of them. And they showed up on to my house, which is like 40 minutes away.
This was like the day
And
before you left, I think, right?
yeah, the day before I left, and had like poppers and like put confetti out. It was so nice. We were like, could not believe you guys did that. And Monet, first of all, those things did not.
I was about to ask that.
So the poppers that they used were like
They were
supposed to be
confetti. Yeah, they were
biodegradable.
confetti cannons.
And Jared and Emily were like, "This is biodegradable. It's good, okay for the environment. It should be fine." And they like stayed. The white and black confetti stayed on the lawn literally until we got back 2 weeks later. And the only reason they're not there is because Terrence blew the leaf blower. Blew him with a leaf blower.
You got to give my apologies. I definitely thought they would just disappear.
And my mom was like, "I'm gonna kill Jared. These aren't biodegradable." She's like, "They probably take months to finally deteriorate." I was like, "Oh my Atlanta."
Yo, as soon as we left, I was like, "Oh snap! Like, what if your dogs?" Like, I was thinking the worst. I was like, "What if your dogs eats one and it like chokes or something?" I was like,
the craziest thing.
I was like, "Yo, I would kill your dog. Like, if it ate one and just like choked or something." I was really nervous about that.
The funniest thing though was when you pulled up, you called me, but I was eating dinner, so I just ignored the call.
Yeah, I call her now husband. I called him like 3 times, and they just declined my call.
You called
and I'm
Terrence
like,
too?
yes, I called him after I called you like 4 times.
No, he didn't get your call. He would have answered. We were all sitting eating dinner, and I ignored you because I was eating, and I thought you were calling me about podcasts, and I was like, I'll call him back. And then all I hear is "Let's Get Married" remix blasting in the driveway. I'm like, I have no black neighbors. Like, what is happening?
Oh, and as we're doing this, a truck drives by with a humongous Trump flag on the back of it.
That was fucking crazy. I've never seen that before on my street.
So I was like, Jesus. Wild. I was like, well, you do live in the boonies, so I mean, that's expected. I'm not surprised by that.
So Jared,
were you able to taste that champagne, or because I know it was cold when you got it?
We brought it to Maryland. We opened it down there.
Oh wow!
It was lit. Yeah, because the reason we drove was so that we could bring food and like liquor.
Oh, true. Yeah.
So we put it in the cooler right when we got it and drove it down. So it was good. I'm gonna be honest. Like there was so much champagne. Like I feel like all the bottles got popped at once.
Of course. I mean, even like super expensive champagnes, I can't tell the difference.
I know.
Personally,
So I just kept drinking champagne, and I was like, I think this is the one, but I'm not sure. But that was great. We really appreciated that. So, anyways, Jared and Emily were one of a select few people that knew that we were going to do it. I think we did an episode about my plans to move the big wedding, but
yeah, you explained it all already.
I have to tell you the dramatic stuff.
So you guys drove down Tuesday night or Wednesday morning?
Yeah, so I drove with my best friend, and because Terrence doesn't drive long distance because of his back. So Terrence, my mom, and my brother flew. And the reason why we decided to do it in Maryland was because my aunt lives there and my sister and Terrence's family lives in Virginia. So it was like less people to go there than to come up to Massachusetts. So me and my best friend drove down on Tuesday night. The reason we were driving down on Tuesday night was so that on Wednesday I could go get the marriage license. Because for those who don't know, many counties, I mean, like every state and every county is different, but for the most part, when you apply for your marriage license, it's not valid for like 48 hours or 72 hours or whatever. Like you have to wait 3 days.
I don't even think I know that, and I'm married.
Well, that's because Emily probably got the license.
I mean, I was with her when she went and got it, I think. I just don't remember what they were talking about.
But how early in advance did you get it?
We got it like the week of, or like,
like a 2 weeks before. Because it's usually valid for like, you have to get married within 6 months of getting it, but it doesn't become like, I guess, active, for lack of a better word, for 48 hours. So I said to myself, I'm going to get there on Tuesday, because if I get the license on Wednesday, it'll be active by Friday. Now, mind you, the county in which my aunt lives in Maryland, Prince George's County, it's whatever. I'm not going to go into it. But because of coronavirus, I was like, I wanted to make sure they were open. So we have been calling them all in May. And we talked to somebody on the phone. And she was like, yep, the courts are opening June 5th. she's like, you just have to come in and get it. And so then I called like a few days before I left, and I call, and it's like a voice thing, like a recorded thing, and it's like, thanks for calling the blah 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 courts. And he's like, if you want to apply for a marriage license, press 1. No, not a word about Corona on the recording. Like nothing.
Usually everybody has put some sort of messaging or communication out about like their practices now with Corona.
Thank you. Nothing online either. No indication that they're still closed. I click one. It says, if you want to apply, click 1. You click 1. It's another recorded message. It's like, to apply for a marriage license, please come to our office at blah, 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 blah address. These are the hours. Still nothing about coronavirus, right? Like, and the good thing about the county was we both didn't have to be there. I could just bring Terrence's passport and do it myself. We both didn't have to be there. So I'm like,
nice. Yeah.
Yes, because he wasn't coming until Wednesday night. So I'm like that. So I wake up on Wednesday. I'm lit. The wedding's on Saturday. I'm going to the courthouse. I get to the courthouse, ghost town. So I'm like, this is very peculiar. It's like 10 in the morning.
No cars in the parking lot?
No. So I like drive around. I'm like, maybe I'm on the wrong side. And I found some cars. I'm like, I'll park over here. So the door's unlocked. So I open it, and there's 3 security guards standing there. And then they're like, the building's closed. I'm like, the door's unlocked. And they're like, well, was a mistake. The building's closed. And I was like, okay, so do you know how I can get a marriage license? And then the dude was like, oh, wow. He's like, all I know is the people that do that, they're not in the building. And I was like, okay, so is there a electronic process I can start? Like, whatever. So he's like, I don't know. You might have to call. So I call again. I click past all the recordings. It rings for like 3 minutes, and finally this lady answers. She's obviously remote. I can just tell by the answer. She's obviously a remote worker. And she's like, hello. And I'm like, hi. I'm trying to apply
she has some attitude?
Yes. I'm like, hi. I'm trying to apply for a marriage license. And I just came to the courthouse because you have nothing on your recording that says you're closed. So like, how do I do this? She's like, oh yeah, our courts don't open until July 20th. I'm like, oh. And she's like, but you can send an email to marriage license at blah, 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 blah. And she's like, send an email with your information, and we'll send you an email back for next steps. And I'm like, okay, bet. That's all she said, nothing else. So I'm like, okay, bet. So we hang up, and I'm assuming like it's June. Like y'all have been in quarantine for a minute. So yeah, like, I'm assuming they have this process like same as I could walk in, get it same day. Like they're going to do it all over the thing. Like I'll
should be seamless by now. Yeah.
Seamless. So it's 11 o'clock. I'm sitting in the parking lot, and my best friend is just like, in retrospect, she was like, I don't know how you were keeping it together because I would have been panicking. But she was kind of like, okay, it's fine. We're going to figure it out. So
try to make you feel better?
Yeah. So I'm like, no, this is fine. Like these people, at this point, I'm thinking like, there's just no way they haven't figured this out by now. So I email. But I'm a little nervous. So I email in the parking lot. I drive back to my aunt's house, which is like 25 minutes away. Have a literal cocktail at 12:30 p.m. because I'm trying to take my mind. Like I'm waiting for them to email me back. I thought for sure it was going to automatically email me back with like the next steps, like right away. So, and after an hour has gone by, I'm like, let me just have a drink before I start calling these people because I can't. Because obviously the day ends at 4 p.m. for these government workers. And if they're working from home, it's probably earlier than that. So we're just like chilling, drinking, watch TV. So at 2 o'clock, I like say to Allie, I'm like, should I call them? She's like, yeah, just call because this woman didn't even hardly answer at 11 a.m. So same woman answers. She's like, hello. And I'm like, hi. I just sent an email as you told me to. We spoke a couple hours ago, and I haven't gotten an email back for the next steps. I'm just wondering like what your guys' timeline is. Will I hear back today? And she's like, oh, well, you have to give us 72 hours to respond to the email. I'm like, okay, you didn't say that the first time we were on the phone. I literally was like, okay, here's the thing. I'm like trying to get married on Saturday, and I'm just wondering if that's going to be possible in this county, considering you're going to take 3 days to respond to my email. And she's like, let me ask my supervisor. Puts me on hold. Comes back, and she's like, yeah, no, we're just really backed up. Like, you can either wait till we open on July 20th, or we can. She's like, You can do it electronically, but we're backed up. Like it'll probably take like 3 weeks to get it.
What?
I'm like, no way. So now, obviously, I'm panicking. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? And she's like, no, da da da. So I
Is your
hang
mom
up.
there yet or no?
No, it's just me, my aunt, and
Your
Allie.
best friend, yeah.
And so now I'm panicking, obviously. So, but I'm not like emotional yet, but it's like coming. So I call Terrence and he's like, oh God. Blah, 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 blah. And so he starts calling the Massachusetts people to see if like they were doing anything virtual or whatever that we could do. Whatever, dead end. I'm calling every county in Maryland, every like I'm calling Virginia, I call DC. Everybody is ghost town. So now I'm obviously sobbing. I'm like, well, not getting married. and my aunt was like, well, you can still do the wedding ceremony on June 20th, and then when you have your big one on October 3rd, your marriage license say October 3rd, and I'm like, that's defeats the point. The whole reason we're doing this is so that we can
You
just
can keep
be
your
married.
date. Yeah, and keep your date.
And have whatever. So I'm totally having a breakdown. So then I call my cousin, and I'm like, yo, I'm not about to get married. Like, everybody pack it up.
Don't even come out here. Yeah.
Don't come out here. She goes, call Delaware and call West Virginia. So Delaware is like 2 hours from where I am in Maryland, and West Virginia is like an hour and 40 minutes.
West Virginia?
Bro, you kid don't even know. So my godmother, who is marrying us, she's ordained. She actually lives in West Virginia in a really small town at the edge of it called Harper's Ferry. It's like touristy little area, but the actual population of residents is like barely anybody. And she loves it because she loves being like in the woods. So I call the county she lives in West Virginia. Delaware is a bus. I call the county she lives in West Virginia, and I'm like, hi. And they have like, I'm not going to imitate it because I don't want to be rude, but they have West Virginian accents, okay?
Crazy.
And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, hi, I'm trying to get a marriage license. I don't know, like, are you guys? And they're like, yeah, we're open. We're just doing it by appointment only. Today's Wednesday, yeah. So I'm like, do you have any appointments for Thursday? She's like, yeah, we have 10 a.m., 11 a.m., 1 a.m., and 2 p.m. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, do your marriage license, like, is there any wait time? And she's like, no, there's no wait time. Like, once you get it, like, it's valid or whatever. You can get married same day. But you still have to get married in the county or state in which you get your license from, right? So I'm like,
how are we going to do this in West Virginia?
So I booked the appointment for Thursday at 11 a.m. And just to have it, because I still haven't called Terrence to tell him I talked to it, but I just put my name in. And I'm like, okay, here's the deal. Like, West Virginia will literally give us a marriage license tomorrow. We both have to go, though. We both have to show our IDs and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, but the catch-22 is, like, we have to, like, say whatever words we have to say for the marriage to happen in West Virginia. And his plan was to come to my aunt's house Wednesday night when they landed, and then he was waking up Thursday to go stay at his parents for 2 days until the wedding. So he's like, okay, I guess we can drive down in the morning. We can get up in the morning, drive to West Virginia. He's like, I'm going to take a separate car, though, so I can go to my parents' house right after. I'm like, okay, whatever. And so this is now the plan. So they arrive Wednesday night. It's very dramatic. Other aunts and uncles are arriving. Everybody cannot even believe this is happening.
What's Monet saying at this point?
Monet suggested that we take a quick flight to Vegas, go get married in literal Vegas, like so much Corona, and then come back.
She was that serious with that?
Yes. She was like, you can look up the flights right now. Just go for a quick 24 hours. I'm like, there has to be another option. I'm like, there's no way that's the only option. So what? We wake up Thursday morning. We drive to West Virginia. It's about an hour and 40 minutes. So we're up at the crack of dawn, 8 a.m. I'm like, obviously anxiety because I'm like, my luck, this might not work either. We might be right back at square one. Allie's just like being good sport. She came to West Virginia with us because me and Terrence are driving separate. So we get there, we go in the building, they take our temperatures, yada, yada, yada. They literally asked us like the basic questions, like your parents' names, where they were born, whatever. They're like, are you guys related like, are you guys first cousins or related to any closer than that? I'm like, no. Like, they're like, oh,
Oh,
yeah. They're like, it's our law. We have to ask. I'm like,
that's a thing.
okay.
That's a thing in West Virginia.
But like, basically, they were saying if we were second or third cousins, it would be fine. They were just like, you can't be first cousins or in the same immediate family. I was like,
That's nasty.
so that was a shocker. So whatever, that happens. It literally takes 20 minutes. We walk out of the courthouse with a marriage license, a West Virginia marriage license. So now we're like, okay, cool. So my aunt's house was like 10 minutes away. So we drive over there with her apartment. So we drive over there with the marriage license. And I'm like, we have to say whatever words we have to say for you to sign this. You know, like, she's also a lawyer too, as well as an ordained minister. So I'm like, she's not going to lie, obviously, on the marriage license.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, I know where we can go. So we walked to like the top of this hill. It was actually kind of a nice view, but it's just us, my godmother, and Allie. And we said like the bare minimum words. We didn't even exchange rings. We just like I'm wearing a Wu-Tang t-shirt. Terrence is wearing Nike jogger sweatpants and some Jordans. And we said we had to say, and technically by law, we get married on the hill at the top of random West Virginia. So the West Virginia marriage license, which is being mailed to me, marriage certificate, which is being mailed to me, is going to say technically June 18th. However, the point is, we got that freaking license. We're technically married. We're like, should we tell anybody that this happened? Like, or should we just pretend that everything went fine in Prince George's County? I'm like, we have to tell people. My aunt's like, no, you have to, blah, blah, blah. So we go back. My whole family's like, oh, good, you got it, da-da-da. But to me, like, so to make a long story short, there are more things that happened. But to make a long story short, to me, I said to Terrence, I was like, at the end of the day, like, June 20th is the day we were waiting for. June 20th is the day we had the mini wedding. Like, that's the day our witnesses were there. Like, that is the day that I consider to be our marriage wedding anniversary, even though my license says June 18th.
Yeah, that's the day.
The drama. So we spent the whole day in West Virginia. Literally didn't get back till 5 p.m. by the time everything was said and done. And he went to his parents' house. He told his parents at dinner, and his mom like texted me cracking up, and she was like, we're just so happy that you're part of the family. Like, nobody really cared. Like, I made it so much more of a big deal. Like, well, to me it was a big deal because I actually thought it wasn't going to happen. And then when it did happen, I was like still feeling some type of way about it.
Because it wasn't technically the date.
Yes. And like West Virginia, like what? So now we have to mail all this shit because we can't walk in and get it. It's like such a pain in the ass. But anyways, so then Friday, like, we're just with family. It was nice to see everyone. Literally, I realized I haven't seen family in like an actual full year because of coronavirus.
Because of Corona, yeah.
And so that was nice. And then Saturday was a ceremony, and it was great. My cousin did like all the flower decor and stuff, and it just came out like I gave up full creative control because I was too stressed out. And so my aunt, my mom, and my cousin planned everything. So I was like kind of surprised. Like, I didn't know anything. Like, I didn't know the decorations. I didn't know. All I knew was that we were gonna have like 20 people there, and like it was gonna be quick.
Yeah, but you don't have to worry about anything, which is good.
Yeah, it was nice, and we didn't do any like we didn't do any of the reception stuff. Like, we didn't do any toast or like dance. Like, we just like did the ceremony. We had like we cooked food that we put out for everybody, and then we just like chilled and some people. There was some dancing, but we didn't do like first dance.
Yeah, it's like your family parties. You guys chilling, getting together, drinking, enjoying each other's company.
Exactly. And like my niece and nephew were there. I haven't seen them in like so long. So everything happened the way it was supposed to happen. But I'll tell you, it was a very stressful week. So then we drive. So then I wake. This is Saturday night. Saturday night we party. We got a hotel. Obviously, we didn't stay at my aunt's house, and at the harbor. Which, by the way,
this is in Baltimore now.
You
drove to Baltimore.
No, we drove to the National Harbor, DC National Harbor, where MGM is.
Oh, gotcha.
Yep. And we stayed at like a hotel there, but they didn't people were out. Like, people were out. Like, they had masks on, but I just wasn't expecting to see people out. Wasn't nearly as bad as Florida, which I'll get to, but People were out.
That's my question. I'm curious about that trip.
So
But continue.
we got to the hotel at like 1:00. Oh, mind you, I did all my own hair and makeup for the wedding, which is why I have this ginormous burn on my face because I actually burned my face.
But you were curling your hair?
Yes.
Oh my god!
But I did it literally in 30 minutes before the wedding was going to start. But I wore my hair down so you couldn't tell. Anyways, so then I had to get up on Sunday, drive 7 hours back to Boston. We left at like noon. Struggle. Me and Ali are both on the whole struggle bus.
Did he fly back?
Yeah. Terrence flew back. He had like the easiest. Like his experience was not anything like mine. But
show up, get married,
literally.
Make a trip to West Virginia.
He's like, bet. Make a trip to West Virginia, actually, though. So we drove. So we didn't get back to like 7 p.m. on Sunday. I'm so tired. And our flight to Florida was at like 6 a.m. Monday morning. So we had to leave the house at it was at 7 something. So we left the house at like 5 a.m. I had packed a little bit before, but I had to move some shit and like whatever. All that shit you do when you're getting ready and coming back at the same time. We had like 12 hours home. And then we went. So Florida.
Hold on. How was the airport? Was it crowded or
airport
was
it not crowded at all? We have TSA pre-check, but like didn't need it. Walked right through. But even if there were lines, they're like have all the stickers on the ground and stuff. Every single person, at least, okay, I'm gonna start with Boston. Every single person in the Boston airport has masks on. Like, I actually didn't feel that unsafe.
Being smart.
Yeah, like I didn't actually feel like I felt pretty safe at the airport, and we weren't like we always show up like 30 minutes before, so we don't have time to be like we're usually just getting right on the plane. Yeah. And there's no middle seats, so like we sat in the middle so that the aisle was open, so even the person on the aisle was like 6 feet away from like us in the middle in the window. And we were so tired on Monday, like we literally slept the whole flight. So, but the airports were fine.
Was the plane full other than the middle seats?
It was like empty? Pretty empty still. And they don't do like, they come by with the cart, but it's like pre-packaged in a bag, like water bottle, cookies, something, and then they give it to you. And I'm not going to lie, like, I don't know if I was on a new plane or I just haven't seen a plane. Or I just haven't seen a plane in a good minute.
That drone was sparkly clean?
I definitely thought it looked pretty clean. I was like, yo, this is kind of crazy. Like,
they could have been doing this,
that's what I'm saying. So, and then I'm like, it could be in my head. I haven't seen a plane in literally like 8 months. So I felt fine on the plane. I immediately felt unsafe when I stepped onto Floridian ground.
As soon as you walk off the plane, you're just like, oh, this is a different world.
So we had some people ask us like why we even decided to do the honeymoon. And I'm like, because I literally... like we just had to get away. Yeah, like this
was before the huge spike that they just
exactly. Like it was spiking while we were there. It was spiking while we were there. My mom kept texting me every day and being like, "Oh my God, Florida is losing their minds." And so it was spiking while we were there. But so we had planned it. Our original honeymoon was supposed to be Barbados, but we're not trying to leave the country because who knows if we can get back in.
They probably wouldn't even let you in.
That's what I'm saying. So you
step off the plane.
Step off the plane. And we're staying like this place called Amelia Island. It's like it's not like you have to take a boat, but you got to take like a bridge or whatever. And it's like 30 minutes outside of Jacksonville. So we step off the plane, we get in like a airport fucking super shuttle or whatever. And the driver has a mask on and we have masks on. So I'm fine. Like airport was a little suspect. There were a lot of people in the Jacksonville airport, more than I would have liked to see, but we just sprinted right through. Like we didn't stop, like whatever. So we get in the taxi, he's fine, we drive. We get to the hotel, which is a Ritz-Carlton. So it's nice. And I guess maybe the people staying at the hotel just trust the cleanliness of it. But like immediately when we get there, not a single human being has a mask on. Like the service people do. Like the guy, the check-in counter and and all the people with uniforms have masks. But not a single hotel goer has a mask on.
Like a visitor, yeah.
And so
they're probably looking at you guys like you're crazy.
Yes, I have my whole mask on, and I'm like, I'm not taking my mask off till I get to my room. And so we go, or till I get space from these people. It was like packed. Like The hotel was packed. And then we got there early, so the room wasn't ready. And so we went to the pool bar or whatever, and it had just opened. So we were the only people sitting at the bar. So I was like, bet I could do this. And we like got drinks or whatever. When I like the amount of children, first of all, I understand parents are cooped up with their kids in coronavirus and they're trying, like maybe in Florida, they're trying to get them out. But like the amount of children, specifically obviously white people, who bring their children to Ritz-Carlton resorts. Like the pool, the first day we went to the pool, I never went back to the pool after this day. I was literally like appalled. The first day we went to the pool, you couldn't even go in the pool because there was, number one, so many people, and number two, so many children, like literally doing cannonballs in like.
They didn't have like an adults only section?
No.
Oh my God.
Because the resort was also right on the beach. So most people go to the beach.
I get you.
But the beach,
so
yeah, like we had went to the pool the first day. I forgot why, but the beach, because they don't do fucking bar service on the beach. So there's so many kids. I've never seen anything like it. Like, I'm not saying you can't bring your kids on vacation, but like my kids will not be deserving of the Ritz-Carlton. I already know.
The Ritz-Carlton is wild.
I already know they're not going to deserve that. Those children are going to the nearest Residence Inn if they want to go swimming. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it was crazy.
The Ritz is crazy, yeah.
So many kids. So there were mad people at the pool, but like we sat in the corner, like we found chairs in the corner, and like the closest people, like there were people in front of us and people to our left, but they were both 6 feet. But the rest of the chairs, like these people were on top of each other. Jared, you would not know Corona existed ever. It was like the Twilight Zone.
I'm like, they're just like a whole different place. Like they don't even care about what's going on, or
the Twilight Zone. And everybody's really looking at me like I'm crazy. Number one, because there's no other black people at this resort, except that we did see one family at the end. But they're already looking at me because I'm crazy because there's no other black people here, and we're like obviously young black people, so they're probably thinking, how the fuck can these people afford this? And number two,
that's even worse. Like the people there that were old and just like not caring at all that Corona is out there.
They weren't even that old. Like I thought it was going to be a lot of old people because it's like a big golf area, but most of the people were like young, like 30s, 40s, 50s children. And like I obviously always had my mask on. Like anytime I wasn't like 6 feet away from somebody or going to the bathroom, like I had my mask on literally at the pool with my bikini and a mask. And people are like, what is wrong with this person? I'm like, y'all don't know that Corona is out there?
Y'all are nasty, yeah.
Like, I don't understand. So the week, like, so most of our meals, like we ate a shit ton of room service. Every single breakfast was room service, which was lit. And we had a ground level room. So we had like a patio. Yeah. So we had a table out there. I was like, I will literally eat every meal on this patio if I have to. And we ate a lot of them. We only went. So we did one dinner at the resort. It was like a resort restaurant. And then that was our last dinner of the week. And then we did one dinner on Wednesday night off the resort. Jared. Let me tell you about the Karen I saw at the restaurant.
There's a Karen. Oh, of course, Florida. They got a lot of Karens.
Yo, people are really crazy. So, well, I saw a Ken too at the hotel. I saw this Ken and his 3 kids at the hotel. I was waiting in line trying to get change for cash, and he was there with his kids, and he's talking to the guy who's so nice, by the way, and he's like up against the glass. Like if the glass wasn't there, he would have definitely spit Corona at this guy. And the guy had no mask on. The dude the Ken had no mask on, but the guy had a mask, and he's like, you know, you guys closed down the outdoor restaurant because of rain. And he's like, and that just doesn't make sense to me. And now my kids, like, you know, they just want to get a burger. Like he was complaining about something so crazy.
F them kids.
And the guy at the thing was like, yeah, whenever it rains, it rains in Florida literally every day. And he's like, whenever it rains, we close the terrace because it's slippery. It's a hazard. Like, that's why it's closed. It'll open back up when it dries out. And he's like, no, this is unacceptable. I paid for all the amenities here, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, yo, this is... So we go off restaurant and the restaurant we go to is like 2 miles away. We're not that far out. Yeah. And it's packed. Like, Jared, when I say it's packed...
Like, nothing's different.
Like, they definitely had the tables 6 feet apart. But it wasn't like the tables, like in the restaurant, in the hotel, there were empty tables in between each table with people at it. Theirs wasn't like that. All the tables were full. They were 6 feet apart, but there were so many people in there. And so we get in there with our masks and we have a reservation. We made the reservation earlier in the week and all the reservations were booked up. We got like the last one. And we were like 10 minutes early. So they were like, just wait for a second. Your table's not ready yet. So I go to the corner of the waiting room as far away as possible. It's not even a big waiting room. It's like a little area with the couch.
Yeah.
And I'm just watching people. Nobody has masks on. Not kidding. And I'm watching people come in and out. 3 pregnant women came in and out, no masks. Oh my God. And they're shaking each other's hand. Nice to meet you. Da-da-da-da-da. I'm looking at Terrence like, yo, this is really giving me some serious fucking anxiety. Meanwhile, there's this old ass Karen standing at the counter. And you could tell she had been there for a minute because the lady behind the counter who does the table thing, she was not trying to look at her because you could already tell she was aggravated.
Oh, yeah.
And the Karen's like standing there like with her arms crossed looking at her. And she's like, listen, like, you know, I've been waiting for an hour and like all these people are sitting down. And the lady's like, ma'am, all these people have reservations. You didn't have a reservation when you came in here. I told you that we were full of reservations and that I would try to make it work. But like, obviously, as you can see, she's like, no, this is ridiculous. And this was the funny part. She kept switching up her story. She's like, well, I tried to call to make a reservation several times. And one time I got a voicemail and the other time it got disconnected. The lady's like, okay, you still don't have a reservation. And then, and then the Karen's like, please get your manager right now. And she's like, the woman's like, I would love to get my manager. So when she goes to get the manager, we get seated, but I can still see them over the thing because I'm being nosy.
Of course, you're like,
I'm like, yo,
on Twitter every day.
So she's like talking to the manager, waving her arms around. It's so super duper dramatic. And the manager's like, ma'am, I can't even tell what he's saying because he's too far away and he has a fucking mask on, so I can't read his lips, as he should. Obviously, he must have told her something because she left in a rage. Like, she was like, snatched her shit up and stormed out the door. It was so dramatic. That is not the craziest thing that happened at the restaurant, though, because let me tell you. So we're at the restaurant.
Yo, Florida is wild. That's a crazy place.
Florida is wild. So we're sitting at our table. We're in a booth, thank God. Like, we're not out in the open with tables. We're in a booth in the corner right by the door, too. So bad, you know. So
kind of secluded.
And the booths are kind of high. Like, they're not like low booths. They're high booths. So, like, we really couldn't see anybody. So our waiters, like, there's mad kids in this restaurant, too. It's a steakhouse. Like, I'm talking steaks, like expensive steaks. There's a whole family in there with a kids table of, like, 12 kids. And our waiter's like, yes. And our waiter's like, he's like, he's so nice. And he's like, you guys, I'm so happy you're here, blah, blah. He's like, I just want to warn you, like, we're really busy, obviously. Like, we just opened recently. There's a bunch of fucking kids over there. That's literally what he said. He's like, there's a bunch of fucking kids over there. And they're driving me crazy. And all their parents are complaining about the food taking too long. He's like, I just want to tell you up front that, like, we're just moving a little bit slow. And
might be a delay.
Yeah. And I was like, I appreciate that. I appreciate you managing my expectations.
You guys aren't in a rush anyway.
Exactly. So I'm like, take your time, sir. So we order our bottle of wine, Why?
Are you still the only black folks in there?
I think we're the only black folks, like, on Amelia Island. Whatever. I don't know what the demographic of Amelia Island is, or if anybody knows people that live there or have been there, but there's no black people. We did see a family on the last day. But anyways, we're sitting at the table, and in comes, like, a fucking paramedic, a stretcher, more paramedics, and they walk right by our table. And I'm like, yo, what is going on? And our waiter comes over at the same time the paramedics are coming in to bring us our wine. And I'm like, sir, what's happening? Because it's happening behind me. And Terrence is facing it, but he can't see it because the booths are high.
Yeah.
So I'm like, can you see anything? And he's like, no, I can't see anything. And I'm like, said to the waiter, I'm like, what's going on? Because now I've established that he's cool. And he's like, some lady over there is, like, sick or something. Like, I guess she, like, is having... He goes, some lady over there is having an episode. I'm like, what do you mean she's having an episode? And he's like, I don't know. I think she, like, passed out in the seat. Oh. I'm like, no way is this happening right now. So...
That's a sign of COVID.
Bruh, a sign of COVID. Jared.
Dehydration, maybe. passing out.
They
Yep.
put the lady on the stretcher. I don't see any of this happening because it's behind me, but they have to roll her by my table on the stretcher to get out the door because I'm near the door. And
Trying to enjoy your romantic dinner.
Bruh, trying to enjoy it. And I have to slide, like I'm sliding to the corner of the booth closest as far as I can get to the wall. Like I'm suctioned to the wall because I don't want her to roll by me with the corona. I'm like this, covering my mouth. And this woman rolls by and she's literally vomiting in a bag as she's rolling by. I'm like, yo,
I would have had to leave.
I had my hands like on the side like this because I really didn't want to see what she looked like or what her symptoms really were because I really didn't want to accept the fact that she probably had corona up in this bitch. And I like looked out when you're watching a scary movie and you just peek out the creases of your fingers. That's what I did, and I saw her like head down with the blue bag that they give you, and I was like, yo, I'm tripping.
That just ruins your appetite at that point.
Tripping. I was shook as fuck. Meanwhile, nobody's wearing masks. Like, it was so crazy, Jared. I can't even begin to explain to you. So, we obviously had already ordered our food at that point. Like, we have to stay
you have to wait.
And the food was great. And obviously, we're sort of like semi-quarantining right now for 14 days. But it was crazy. And so, like, for the rest of the week, like, we just laid low. We went to the beach. On the beach, like, because it's a resort, they do the chairs for you, so they put the chairs 6 feet apart. So we were like totally alone. But there was like another hotel next to us that they were all on top of each other. I was like, yo, this is why.
Yeah, you see the pictures of like the beaches in Florida. It's like they're all on top of each other, and I'm like,
so ours, thank God, wasn't. It's not like a public. Like our resort has a specific area that's not like that's just for them.
Private.
Yeah, they have like the flags up or whatever. So we just went to the beach every single day after that, and I just like can't even really put into words how crazy Florida is. Which brings me to the point because I've been seeing a lot of people on Instagram debating whether or not we should be wearing masks. I don't know if you've seen.
Do you follow the people? I have not. You follow people who think they shouldn't be wearing masks?
Well, yes, and also I like fuck around on it. Like I go on Instagram, like I just go into the depths of despair on Instagram, and I go into rabbit holes, like explore and stuff, and watch random people's stories. And I'm just like, to anybody who thinks that a mask, like all the things I'm hearing about masks, like you're gonna inhale the toxins your body is trying to put out. Like
it's not true,
bruh. Maybe if you're wearing an N95 and you're a doctor and you have 2 12-hour shifts, like maybe a minuscule amount of toxin you're inhaling back into your body. But if we are asking you to wear your mask in the grocery store or in the fucking wherever you decide to go, now that the world is
opening, be there for 20, 30 minutes,
nothing is going to happen to you. Like.
And then you have the people who say, "Oh, I have like a condition that tells me I can't wear a mask." What are you talking about? You're just making things up now. Because when you go to the hospital, if you have any sort of procedure, they're going to put a mask on you.
Anyways, to Florida, y'all are tripping.
So how was the flight back? Or like I'm assuming the airport was still packed, nobody wearing masks.
The people in the airport on the way back, like it wasn't as packed, and I mean, like it was like 50-50 on masks, but. Like, depending on the airline, like JetBlue, like you're not even getting on the plane if your mask isn't on. Like,
smart.
Yeah, I fuck with JetBlue. I mean, honestly, I didn't feel like that unsafe in the airport. I honestly thought I was gonna die in Florida. And my mom kept texting me being like the cases, and we obviously were seeing on Twitter like Florida spiking this, Florida spiking that. I mean, I think obviously Florida's spike has to do with not only people not wearing masks, but like people are actually clubbing like in Florida where they were. They were going to clubs. So I'm like, obviously Corona is spreading. Like I felt like where we stayed was like pretty clean. We like stayed away from all people. Like normally if we were, you like meet other young people or like, just like talk to people, like, no, we weren't doing none of that. And
you become friendly.
Yeah. Like we were not friendly at all. And we spent a lot of time on our patio in our room or on the beach. So it was great. I am going to get tested, I think, just to be safe. But Florida, y'all are tripping. And
And
I'm
then they
just
have like the bars and the clubs where people who work there were testing positive, and the bars weren't saying anything, or they weren't even shutting down to clean. Like they were just holding that like a secret. Like, yo,
it's
you guys are
nasty.
ridiculous.
It's nasty.
So you
And
guys you guys feel good? No symptoms or anything?
I feel 100% fine. I have no symptoms. Obviously, that doesn't mean I don't have it, but we were very, 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 very careful. And like, I mean, I'm obviously paranoia. So like sometimes same way you are. So even Terrence like would forget, like Terrence started to get a little lax, like not lax on purpose, but he just saw all these people around him not wearing masks. So subconsciously he's just like forgetting. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
it's
where the
like,
F
oh,
is your mask? Put that shit on right now.
yeah.
So we try to like remind each other, but anyways, it was a crazy 2 weeks, which is now you all know why we had 0 pods because this shit was crazy. And honestly, like at the end of the day, we are buried. We went on our little mini honeymoon. We had a good time. We got away. It was nice to be on the beach. I'm not gonna lie.
I can imagine a little trip. I want to take
Um,
a trip so bad just to get away
yeah,
and
it
just like
definitely.
to
I definitely got a little like.
unplug.
I definitely scratched the itch a little bit, like to just take a trip and unplug. But I'm not going back to Florida.
Yeah, Florida's tripping. I had to
Tripping.
get tested. I think while you were out there, I had to get tested.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah, because you came to my house and you wouldn't come to the deck.
yeah. So I wouldn't. Yeah,
But were you negative?
yeah. We both tested positive. That test is
You both
crazy.
tested positive.
Negative. I said negative.
You said positive. Um.
I meant negative. No corona over here.
Okay, so yeah, did they
That
jam it
test
into
is
your brain?
crazy.
Terrence is
Yes.
petrified of it.
Yo, so at first I thought it was just one nostril. So I'm like, okay. And then there was like, it's two nostrils. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So he does it. I'm like, okay, it wasn't that bad. Then he does the second one. I'm like, that was uncomfortable. That hurts. And as he's pulling it out, I swear, I opened my eyes and I like went blind for like 5 seconds.
Oh my god.
And then and then my eyes just started watering and just dripping. Like I was like crying profusely. I was like, yo, what is going on? And then they give you a tissue, wipe your eyes. And I did the rapid test, so I found out like in 20 minutes.
Oh, that's good.
So it wasn't, I mean, it sucks, but it's only like 5 seconds worth of pain.
Yeah, it's
And
worth
then you
it
go,
to know that you don't have it.
yeah, exactly. But
That's
still got to
crazy.
quarantine, not quarantine, but still got to be safe out there. Corona still out there, still spiking, still killing people. Be
That's
safe.
crazy. Yeah, so now we're just trying to figure out, like, I mean, Massachusetts, we're doing all right. I don't think we should be getting into phase 3, but that's a whole nother thing. But I feel like
Yeah, they're opening up indoor seating in restaurants. I'm like, I'm
yeah,
not doing
I
that,
don't know
bro.
if I do. I don't know if I went to a restaurant in Massachusetts for the first time the other day, and it was outdoor seating, and like the outdoor seating was so spread out, like we couldn't even like you couldn't even hear the other table. You know what I'm saying? So
I'm still kind of skeptical about the outdoor seating too, but I think eventually I'm gonna venture out and go sit outside at a restaurant. But
I didn't mind the outdoor, and like the waitresses obviously have masks on, and then like we wear masks until we like literally sit down.
yeah,
But we're trying to figure out. So like obviously we're still having the big wedding because we want to celebrate with everybody, and it's supposed to be October 3rd. So we're like everybody's talking about this fall spike and like what's gonna happen in phase 3. So did you know in phase 3 weddings are allowed, but there's
bro,
no bars and no
and no
dance?
dance
I'm
floor.
like,
I'm
who
like, what's the
wants to
point?
go to that?
Yes, I'm like, you might as well just elope. What's the
Exactly.
point? What's the point? You get no bar and no dance floor.
So I like had my planner email the venue and not just like to see because they're supposed to have September. Like they were fully booked in September. So I was like, has anyone in September moved? And they were
Oh, to
like,
see if you could move it up, maybe.
well, not just move it up, but like, do they think like because also it's like obviously when if we can have it in October, we're gonna have to like social distance the tables and like people wear masks. I'm hoping the dancing thing won't be an issue, but like I'm worried about the amount of people we have in the tables, like underneath this, like in the surface area, like it being all be able to fit with being 6 feet apart. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So I was just trying to see like if logistically they think they can still make it work if we're all wearing masks, like whatever. And the venue was like, yeah, we think like if they state keeps opening the way it is, like we plan to be fully, like we'll be fine because they're doing
fully operational.
They're doing outdoor seating and stuff right now for their restaurant, like under the tent that our wedding would be in. So they're like, I guess, like playing with like layouts and stuff like that. But yeah, I wouldn't like. I'm glad we did it the way we did it because we got the legalities out of the way and we can start like.
Yeah. And you still probably would have been stressing right now.
Exactly, because there's obviously still a chance that October 3rd doesn't happen if there's another spike. So
yeah,
even if it has to be 2021 summer, like it's like it is what it is because we got married and we can start like doing all the stuff we wanted to do. We don't have to wait. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. Wow, I like wasn't even sure if I was going to tell this whole story on the pod, but then I was like, okay.
I think people are going to enjoy this.
Bruh. It was so
like now
stressful.
you have a crazy story now for like the rest of your life.
You're like the 30th person to tell me that.
But I mean, it's facts. Have you ever been to West Virginia before?
Well, yeah. So that's the cute thing. Like we've been to when we lived in Maryland, we used to go to West Virginia to visit my godmother. Like we went for Memorial Day and we like, that's where we go to hike and stuff. So we had been there to hike a few times and we had like, we'll stay at night with my godmother, like have dinner with her. So there is some semblance of meaning to the state of West Virginia, I guess. But if you haven't been to Harper's Ferry, I'd highly suggest it. It's a really nice little town. Oh, it is what it is. It's done. It's handled. We're married. We are
Mrs. Watson.
We are.
Yay.
We've done it.
We gotta next time we're together, we gotta take a big shot. A shot to the Watsons.
Y'all, if you get anything out of this long ass story about my life today, please wear your fucking masks. Like it's actually not, it should not be optional. Like
they projected that if 95% of the country wears a mask, you guys would save 33,000 lives.
But y'all don't want to wear a mask because you're selfish.
Wear your mask.
It's so funny. Like it just is it's a perfect fucking example of America. And like it just
we're trash. We're super trash.
In other countries, like they have now band together, and also we're just only thing America cares about is money and power. Other countries, they're like, oh no, our citizens, our pride, like let's all do this for each other. America, they're like, open the economy, fuck all the people, like It's just money and power.
It's a small inconvenience, and people are taking it like their life is over.
I hate it here. I'm looking for new countries to live in.
Yeah, so like I have a one-on-one with my manager every week. And every time, like, to start our one-on-one, he hops on, and he's in Canada. He's Canadian. And he just talks about, like, just the way that Canadians look at us. He was like, at first, it was like a joke, and they would just, like, laugh at Americans. But he's like, now they're, like, petrified for us. Like, they're literally scared for the people in this country just because of the leadership and the way that Americans act and just the spikes because – this is all like everything that's going on is because of what we are doing.
That's fucking.
So at first we were a laughingstock, but now people are like literally scared for our lives.
I'm scared for my life for me too. So
it's crazy.
Well, I feel rejuvenated just being on the pod today. I feel
let it all out.
I feel like I let it out. I'm not harboring a secret anymore. So hey.
I'm waiting for the post.
I'm not going to post any pictures of it because I don't want people to see my like dress and stuff.
Oh, true.
I might post like my cousin posted a picture of like our hands and our rings and like shit like that. But I'm not going to actually post any pictures of us. But I will share some pictures of like the decor because my cousin who did it did a beautiful job. But yeah.
Word. Well, we are all happy for you.
Thank you.
Mr. and Mrs. Watson 2020.
Good old 2020, the silver lining. Glad we're back. If you like this episode and this podcast, please subscribe, rate, and review, and tell a friend.
Yes, follow us. Hit us up on Instagram, Done With Adulting Pod. Also on Twitter, Done, WTH, Adulting. Hit us up. We appreciate everybody who shares our post. It's really dope to see. So continue to do that, and we appreciate you all.
All right, we back, baby.